complaints brought by smaller parties. Would like to welcome with us now Tselane. He is with the Institute of Election Management Services in Africa, IMSA. You're the executive chair there. Thank you so much once again for making the time. Perhaps let's just start a bit on IMSA and what its work entails.
IMSA basically offers us election management services throughout the value chain in the electoral processes. So we offer strategic advice on elections. We give support to election management bodies throughout the continent. But we also run the elections for those institutions that require us to run elections for them.
These institutions would be on the continent, internationally?
They'll be in the continent, they'll be in South Africa.
Wherever you can find a client.
Wherever we can find a client, we will offer those services.
Okay, let's just start before we go into the analysis, let's start our conversation with operations. In your opinion, with hindsight, do you think the IEC ran this election with integrity?
The electoral process, it's a massive operation. And therefore, you would expect to have some hiccups here and there. And I think those hiccups are as a result of certain aspects not necessarily being followed, and also some inherent difficulties with certain regulations and rules. So all in all, I think the Commission has really run a credible operation. You've got 220,000 staff members on this day. You've got 22,924 voting stations. The management thereof, it's really a massive operation. So to the extent that we were able to get the results almost declared completed in all the provinces and almost now the national, I think it is commendable act, and I think they've done the best that they could, irrespective of those or in spite of those minor hiccups that they encountered.
Comparatively speaking, has there been any country that has run 100% smooth operations in terms of running an election? Impossible.
There's never been a country that has run an election that does not actually have any hiccup. All over, I mean, there have been election results, as you know, that were nullified by the courts in Kenya. There were problems with the voters' roll in Ghana. There were problems almost everywhere where we have actually had elections. There have been problems in Western Australia, in Canada. There have been disputes to the extent that those disputes have actually gone to court, including actually in the UK.
We're talking to Mr. Tselane. He's the executive chair at IMSA, and he will stay with us for quite a bigger portion of the show, taking a look at the elections that have just taken place, the results of which are expected at 6 p.m. tonight. But right now, let's go to our reporter, Ofe.